Welcome to the Saturday Sports Line. Since 1969, the premier sports show about local high school sports, featuring coaches, players, and special guests. Now, here is your host of the Saturday Sports Line, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI Sports Director, Mitch Columbi, and sports analyst, Chris McGowan.
Running on 2 hours of sleep after that one last night, Chris. Unbelievable. I couldn't get to sleep. I was laying in bed staring at the ceiling, just thinking about that Knox North Judson game last night. Just unbelievable. Of course, I was here at the station getting things ready for this morning, but couldn't be happier. We're happy to be here for you as the Saturday Sports Line, the longest-running coaches show in Indiana. We are on here at Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI as we look around and see the scores. Of course, last night we were in North Judson for a shutout. The North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays beat the Knox Redskins 26-0 for their fourth win of the season. Knox moves to 2-2 on the season. They face John Glenn next week. We're going to have all the coaches in here to talk a little bit later. Winamac, an unfortunate loss to LaVille last night, 41-0. They are 3-1 on the season. South Central Buzz Schoff continues the struggles. He is 0-4 as they lost to Wheeler last night, 35-0. An unfortunate loss there. And then finally, the West Central Trojans and the Culver Cavaliers faced last night. Culver came out on top 18-0. That's a loss for West, the first loss actually for the West Central Trojans. We've got Marc Hall on the line. Let's go ahead and bring him in, Chris. Marc, good morning.
Morning.
Well, Coach, 18-0 last night. Culver's in years past have been known to be a physical football team. Did their physicality get the best of you last night?
They were definitely the most physical team that we have played so far this year, and we told our kids all week that it's going to be a four-quarter game, and you guys are going to have to be ready to be physical, and we just didn't respond very well to it, and we had some opportunities early. We forced a turnover on their first possession, and then we couldn't capitalize. Then we started turning over the ball as well, and so that's not a good recipe when we start turning over the ball. Then we aren't a really quick passing team if we do get behind in situations and have to pass a lot. We ended up having to late last night to try to get back in it, and just didn't have what we needed to have last night to get the job done. Culver played well, and they had a good game plan, and they took us out of what we wanted to do.
So, sometimes as a coach, you never want to lose, but, sometimes a loss can be a blessing in disguise and kind of ground you a little bit and get the kids' heads on their shoulders in a positive way. Is that how you're going to take last night's loss?
Yeah, that's what we've already discussed, is that, this past week our practices weren't as focused as they have been the past couple weeks, so we need to get refocused. We talked about last night that our goals that we set for the season, they're all still right in front of us. We didn't have a goal for just winning that game. We had a goal for conference. We had a goal for other things later in the season. So all those things are still right there. A loss tonight, while it hurts, it isn't hurting. It's not going to derail the season. It's not going to end it. So it's something we got to learn from and get better every day in practice and get ready for next week.
We're talking with Marc Hall, the head coach of the West Central Trojans. Marc, where are you heading? Sounds like you're heading somewhere exciting.
Well, I'm heading off to another location for a different show, and then I'm heading home to see my brother, who I haven't seen for 5 years. So.
Oh, wow!
Well, you're a busy guy today. It sounds like.
Yeah, if you're listening, kids, Coach Hall is parked alongside the road.
Hey, it is speakerphone, so it's...
okay. Yeah, we're good. All right.
Good.
Yeah, so who played well for you last night, Coach?
Last night we had defensively a good effort from Jacob Flarski. He ended up with 10 total tackles and a forced fumble and a fumble recovery. Buzz Beiswinger also played well defensively for us, had, I think, around 7 or 8 total tackles. Had think 1.5 were lost last night. So we had good efforts out of those guys. Tristan Sizemore had a good effort last night for us in defensive end. We had several guys that defensively, we did some nice things. It just would have been a little bit better if we had some more offense to go with it, and that's where we struggled quite a bit. So hopefully we can get, as we go forward, same type of defensive effort that we had, and then also get back to what we were doing offensively.
All right, so next week you got the North Newton Spartans coming to West Central. Hopefully, I know they've had numbers struggles. They took on a KV team last night, I believe, and got handled pretty good. Any word on whether or not North Newton is going to be able to make that trip next Friday?
I have not heard anything yet. I'm hoping they are able to. I'm hoping definitely, since it's a conference game, that they're able to. But yeah, I have not heard anything yet. So we'll see what we find out today as we go throughout the day.
So other than the numbers issues that North Newton has had, what do you know about the Spartans and what concerns you about what they bring to the table?
Oh, they are a pretty different team than what they have been in the past, but they still have guys on there that have had the experience of winning the conference the last few years. But they've got guys that expect to do well. Their running back in the Week 1 game against South Newton looked like he had a pretty good game from what it showed on film that what we've seen. So running backs can be a concern. Just some of their guys up front, they still got some size in different spots. So they're also going to be a physical team. They're going to try to get after you, and on defensive especially. And so those things we've got to be ready for. And as we go through the week, find out where their spots are at and try to take advantage if we can.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you taking your time on the road like this. I know you're a busy guy heading all over the place. You're meeting your brother later, but tell us a little bit how it is coaching up against an old friend in Mike Zehner. Of course, you guys went to school together at Manchester University. Tell us what it's like coaching against an old friend like that.
It's fun. It'd be more fun if won a few more of them instead of him getting them all, but it's always good to see him. It's one of those things that during the football season we're both busy, so there's not a whole lot that we get to spend time talking to each other or things like that. So being able to play against each other does give us an opportunity to catch up a little bit and see how things are going. And so it's always just nice to see him again.
Well, Coach, it's time for us to move on, but we appreciate your time, and you've got to get going where you're going. So until next week, we appreciate your time. We're looking forward to our game that we have scheduled for you September 30th. West Central at Winamac. We're going to be at that game. It'll be the first time we get a chance to meet you, so I'm looking forward to that, Coach. Good luck next week against North Newton.
All right, well, thank you.
Safe travels, Coach.
All right, that's head coach.
Thank you.
All right, Coach. Hey, that's head coach of the West Central Trojans, Marc Hall, here on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the Saturday Sports Line.
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928. That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Brems. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392.
At First Farmers Bank and Trust, we've been serving family farms for over 130 years. We've seen our customers succeed in good times, pull through in tough times, and we've learned some lessons along the way. So we appreciate the customers we have today by finding the solutions they'll be looking for tomorrow. Are you ready to talk about your farm operation? Stop by a branch or visit us online at ffbt.com. First Farmers Bank and Trust, Equal Opportunity Lender. Member FDIC.
This presentation of our area's local high school sports is sponsored by Pulaski Memorial Hospital in Winamac. Pulaski Memorial Hospital is dedicated to providing excellent health care to improve the health and quality of life for the people and the community they serve. They will meet the community's needs and exceed their expectations by creating the best possible health care experience. For more information of the services they provide, call 946-2100.
Join us each Saturday morning on WKVI for the Saturday Sports Line and worldwide on WKVI.com.
From the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios, Mitch Columbi and sports analyst Chris McGowan on hand, bringing you all access, continuing the tradition here at Kankakee Valley Broadcasting as we have head coach of the Culver Cavaliers, Mike Zehner, on the line after a win over West Central. We just got off the phone with his old buddy from Manchester University, Marc Hall. I'm guessing you listened to Marc in that interview, Mike. What'd you think of what he had to say?
Yeah, I got to listen to Marc. He's a good guy, great coach, and he nailed on the head that we don't get to see each other as much as we'd probably want to, and so it was nice actually catching up before the game and just kind of talk before the teams actually went out and got the pregame stuff done, but. He's got them rolling. They're 3-1 now. They're 3-0 going into last night. And, they got to be one of the favorites, I would think, to win their conference. And he's got some athletes. He's got some guys up front that present some problems. I think the Weisswanger kid Buzz, number 70, he may be the best lineman we've faced this year, to tell you the truth. And that's saying a lot going against North Judson, Knox, and obviously South Central. I mean, they do a good job. He's all over the field. He presented a lot of problems for us last night. And, really just kind of had to run right at him. And really he attracted a double team from us about all night. And so that's a credit to him. And they got some athletes. They're going to be tough. They're a tough out for anybody, I believe. I was happy, obviously, to get the goose egg on the board for them, and so the defense played well. We put them in bad spots sometimes, short fields, whatever. And I thought our guys stepped up and got some turnovers or turnover on downs and forced a punt. But man, they played well. Anytime you cause 6 turnovers, it's going to be a good night for you. And I still got some penalties. I think both teams are probably not unhappy with that, but. I think the crew last night was getting evaluated, so they felt like the laundry should have been on the field a little bit more than what it needed to be.
Well, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, and I can only imagine, I think head-to-head that you've gotten the better of your buddy Marc every year you guys have played, so Marc's got to be driving down the road right now thinking, hey, with friends like this, who needs enemies? We've had a nice little run here, and those tides can change any day. Right, right.
We've had some fun battles, though. They've been some close games, and I look back to, 4 or 5 years ago. It had to be 4 years ago. We had that. It was one of our teams. Yeah, I think it was Zach Dittmeyer's year, and I think that might have been. We almost put 100 points on the board total. It was just back and forth, back and forth. It was a fun game to be a part of. Not if you're a defensive coordinator, but it was just 1-2, 2-play score and just a lot of quick scoring drives, and it seemed like the game took forever. And that was not the case last night. It was more of a defensive battle, and Schumann. We actually ran our first score was out of the tee, and we've been running more spread this year, and felt like we could do some different things. And it's just another thing you got to prepare for us. And but Schumann found a trap on the left side there and walked into the end zone for our first score of 6-0 at half. We had Stephen Pugh played well for us last night, but went down with an injury there in the first half. And then we had to kind of switch things up and run more tee just based on that, because when you're running a lot of shotgun stuff and you just don't feel comfortable sometimes with a backup center and snapping the ball back there. And we didn't need to have any turnovers there late in the game. And late in the first half, and ended up getting a turnover there. Gave them a short field, but the defense held, and they did some nice things. And looking at the defensive performance, we had 6 turnovers, and Shane Schumann had an interception. Hayden Parker had an interception. Hayden also had 4 tackles. Ian Brown had a fumble recovery, 6 tackles, a sack, and another tackle for loss. He did a nice job for us at inside linebacker. And he's that kid that we just got back a couple of weeks ago from, he was in basic training all summer, so he's still learning the offense and defense. Hasn't played much offense for us, but has been starting some inside linebacker for us. Devin Burkett played well. Ethan Binion had 2 fumble recoveries as well. I just felt like as a defensive unit, did an excellent job. Mono Ortiz came in and filled the alley well at safety and broke up some passes as well. So Ollie Morgan's another one that played well. You get that performance. It's a good night. Offensively, Schumann rushed for 178 yards, what we had him for, and he ended up eclipsing the 3,000 yards of it. Actually, he moved in to be our leader in career rushing as well last night, and he's still got quite a few games to go, and he's been a good force. He's been a big player for us here the last 3 years.
I was going to say, he's finally, is he a senior yet?
Yeah, finally. I wish he was a junior, but no, he's a senior. I was going to say,
I think he was playing when I was coaching back at Judson. But anyway, he's been there a long time. So yeah, congratulations to him to move atop the all-time rushing list there at Culver High School. That's quite an accomplishment.
Thanks. Yeah, he's and I'm sure he'll give the guys up front credit with who he's had up front in the past few years, and I got to give those guys a big shout out. Coach Kling does a great job with those guys, and late in the game he broke a big one off to get our last. I think it was a 77-yarder to get our last touchdown, and it was actually a check at the line, and Stephen Pugh and Devin Burkett and those guys were based on the defensive alignment, and we haven't had too much of that this year, and that's going to just pay dividends going forward when they can actually start reading some of the techniques and doing those things. They've really relied on Austin Zehner the past 2 or 3 years to do that for them, and I thought Stephen took a big step forward as a leader last night, and showed some toughness, and that's something that's we're gonna have to have this week.
Yeah, speaking of this week, I tell you what, you have to make the trip to Bourbon. Triton Trojans, who coming off a big win last night over the Bremen Lions, 51-10. What do you know about the Triton Trojans?
Yeah, they're good. They beat a Bremen team who just got done beating Mishawaka Marion.
Right.
Marion's been the staple around here, and I'm sure Coach Eunice does a nice job over there. He's got them rolling. They run a very similar system to what we do. They're big. They're physical up front. We've got to watch them their week 1 game against South Central, and they're big and physical up front. The shoe kid at running back is one of the better backs in the conference, and that says something. He's tough to bring down. He's a bruiser, but at the same time, he gets in the open field, nobody's catching him either. The Shively kid at quarterback does a nice job. He's a very good athlete back there, and I think he had I thought somebody said 200 yards last night, and so he looks good back there. You concentrate too much on one person, another one's going to hurt you. And I just listened to him on a radio show, and they see this as a big rival game, and I'm sure we do as well. And it's a fun game to go over there, and they got things rolling. So hopefully they have a little Bremen hangover, and we can sneak up on them and maybe catch them.
Yeah, the shoe, it's almost like in this conference, I can go through team by team and say a name, and it seems like they've been there for forever. Shoe is one of those from Triton. Yeah, the kid over 200 yards rushing last night, 5 touchdowns. And like you said, I think they have maybe 3 seniors and a junior up front that are getting the job done on the offensive line. So again, to me, I'll be honest with you, when I was the head coach here at Knox, going to Bourbon was not one of my favorite places to go, along with New Prairie. But anyway, that's a different story. I think it has a lot to do with the walk. But anyway,
I think we it's weird. Our conference has a long walk about wherever you go. You go over to Judson, you got to walk clear across the county. And Knox now you have to walk clear across the school campus there. And then
that was something I tried to get. That was something I tried to get changed when I was the head coach here at Knox. I said, why are we being so nice to our opponents here? We're putting them right next to the field. They need to be over there in the school where they need to walk like everybody else does.
LaVille's kind of the same way. Heck, I think Culver, we got a longer walk than the visiting team, so I don't know. I got to talk to my AD. He's got to get things straightened out there.
Yeah, that guy's got to get something figured out.
Yeah. No, it's a good conference. I know we talk about that a lot, but man, it's wow. I haven't heard I obviously saw scores. You have to listen. I haven't talked to Lambert or anything like that, but man, for those guys to shut out Knox, I think that's a huge accomplishment for those guys going forward too. I mean, just Knox they're a beast, man. To stop that offense, I'm hats off to those guys as well. But just a fun little conference, and I think there's a lot of mutual respect against with all the coaches as well. You don't always get that. I haven't been at places that the coaches get along as well as they do in the HNAC, so that's good to see.
Yeah, the camaraderie is something that is special, and you can see it before the games. The coaches out there, and I get the privilege of being out on the field during warm-ups and just hear there's some friendly banter going back and forth, but it's a lot of fun to be a part of, and again, great job last night coming away with the victory. So you got Triton next week, and then you Winamac coming to town, Caston, Pioneer, LaVille. Some winnable games in the next 5 for you guys, and to get the record where you want it. But I tell you what, closing out the season at Pioneer and in LaVille, coming to Culver. You don't like to look ahead, but man, that's murderer's row.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, there's no 2 other games that are going to prepare you well for the sectional than those, and I feel like that's what's happened the past few years where, we got a great draw and got us to the sectional championship last year, and you never know at that point.
Right, exactly.
You don't know what the weather conditions going to be. You don't know who's going to have the turnovers, and that's why the games are played, and that's what we get excited for. And I feel like we've done a nice job as a coaching staff, making sure our guys are prepared and playing well towards the end of the season compared to the beginning, and that's what our goals are.
All right, you mentioned had a little injury last night. Overall, how is the health of the club?
Oh, good, yeah. And I think Steven's been battling this for a couple of weeks now. It's just, I think something that happened in practice, and but other than that, everybody's been good. We got Travis Blankenship back for the first time last night. That just added more depth on the offensive and defensive lines. So, I think, man, Shane's probably healthier now than what he has been since week 1. So that's just going to pay dividends going forward as well.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time, and thank you so much for allowing it. I know you're a busy guy. You've got a lot of things going on over there at Culver, and we appreciate everything you do.
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
All right, that is Mike Zehner, head coach of the Culver Community Cavaliers on the Saturday Sports Line. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. Brett Lambert's in the house to talk about last night's big win. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Collins Insurance Agency in Knox has done it again. They have earned the distinction of preferred agency partner from the Western Reserve Insurance Company.
Can't touch this.
So what does that mean for you? Collins Insurance Agency provides themselves of taking care of its community. That means providing the best insurance that keeps you and your family safe in a time of need. And with this honor, Collins Insurance Agency looks forward to providing Stark and surrounding counties the best customer service you and your family deserve. Collins Insurance Agency in Knox, living the golden rule by treating you like family. Welcome to Marian University's newest location, Ancilla College of Marian University. Marian's newest campus location in Plymouth is your home for an on-campus college experience. From living in the dorms to being a collegiate student-athlete, Marian University is ranked 3rd most innovative Midwest university by U.S. News & World Report. For more information about our 2- or 4-year degrees, go to www.marian.edu/Ancilla. That's www.marian.edu/Ancilla.
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928. That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Brems. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392, the Stark County Co-op.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Welcome back to the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios here at Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI. Mitch Columbi along with sports analyst Chris McGowan. We've got head coach of the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays, Brett Lambert, in-house as he took it to Knox last night, 26-0, a shutout. Coach, what do you think?
I mean, first of all, I think, anybody who was there last night, the environment, the atmosphere was just, it was unreal. We were celebrating 75 years of Blue Jay football. There was, 2 good teams on the field. I mean, I don't know if I've seen a crowd that big there before. I mean,
really?
I don't.
Wow.
Maybe, but I don't know. I mean, it was just awesome having all the former players from. There was a guy from the original, team in 1948 there, all the way through, kids from last year's team that were seniors, and they were all in the north end zone. That was just such a cool thing. This is something that myself and Mr. Sharkozy, started talking about back in the winter, and then Sharkozy's really took over the plans after that, and just Mike did a great job just putting that together, and just we have a long tradition, some great coaches, long tradition of great athletes, and just to celebrate that was fun. Before the game, I had Gary Cox, who was my coach when I was in high school. He gave the pregame speech. He coached 15 years at North Judson, so he has the most wins in Judson history, and then the longest streak as a coach. So then that was cool. And then even during the pregame, Russ Radtke, he had been selected to the Hall of Fame years ago, but they just never finalized it. So Hank Orkus, who was a longtime assistant coach at North Judson, he wanted to do something for Russ, and I thought it was great. I didn't know how Russ would respond. None of us did. And we wanted Russ to know. And we didn't want him to think we were trying to do gamesmanship or anything. It was just celebrating. It was 75 years of Blue Jay football, and Russ took us to 3 state championships and has the best winning percentage in Judson history. So
you got to acknowledge it.
Yeah, so it was cool for that to happen before the game too, and I think he took it the right way, and I hope he did, because he should have.
Yeah, he deserved it, and that's why it was kept so hush hush, because nobody actually knew how he was gonna.
Yeah, I knew about it 3 weeks ago.
How he was gonna respond.
Sorry, Russ.
But again, just talking to Hank before the game last night, he told me that this was finalized 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But Russ being who he is, really, it's something that he's never really pushed for. Hank wanted to get it done, and just the respect that Hank has for Russ. I mean, you could see that last night. But again, let's get back to the game now. Knox comes in averaging over 50 points a game, putting up some monster yards on the ground, and you guys put up the goose egg defensively. What was the game plan last night going in, and how were you able to succeed in getting that done? I
mean, really, I think it all starts with Coach Howard. I mean, the staff, the kids, we all get it done, but Evan Howard does a great job with our defense. He might have peeked ahead a little bit, looking at Knox stuff. He saw some stuff that he thought that we could counter. And, he did a lot of work, even with Quentin Frazier, who's an inside linebacker, and just a lot of film time, even with just those two. And Quentin was calling just a lot of stuff on the field, just based on formations, where, it was set up by Evan and the other assistant coaches. But Quentin carried it out, and it was an awesome thing to see. if we're going to be, a championship team down the road, you got to. It starts the defense and running game, and that's really what we had going last night, and just an awesome thing. It was just great. But Coach Howard again doing it. The D line, Dan McGowan, Alvin Harper, Matt Rye, Brian Orcus is a nice assistant there as well. I mean, linebackers, Evan Howard coaches them, and John Hampton, and then Tyler Singleton and Dalton Tunis, the defensive backs. I don't do anything on defense. I just spot the ball during practice. So those guys get it done. It was just fantastic.
Well, to add to your point and what you said earlier, I had mentioned in the broadcast last night, there were times where I couldn't even describe the play because the electricity in that stadium on both the Knox side and the North Judson side, it was contagious. And even though Knox hadn't scored, the energy felt like it was it was just a weird atmosphere. It was almost, and then the full moon with the overcast, cloudy skies, it just was like this perfect setting for a matchup. And I was just so excited. You could tell. I listened back to the broadcast. I might have been a little too energetic.
Welcome to Liberty Field.
Welcome to Liberty Field. I would say Knox, North Judson, that's such a historic rivalry. And we talked about it last night, dating back to 1949. Of course, I get that from Michael Sharkozy. I don't want to sound like I'm smart here, but he's been helping me out, getting me all the information. And we talked about all the players on the field. Chris got to be a part of it. I know you were in the halftime locker room, but you would have been a part of it. Unless you snuck out there and maybe wore a different hat.
No, I didn't. And that's, obviously being the coach is number one priority, but just being a former Blue Jay myself and I was kind of jealous in a way because I loved where I was at, but I looked in that north end zone a couple of times like, gosh, the stories that are probably being told over there. I kind of, wish I could have been in two places at once. But last night I really liked the place I was at.
Well, and let's, we'll talk about the history and the tradition of North Judson. Do you still hold the record for most touchdowns in a game?
Yeah, there's some people tied for that. Rich Christensen, Ken Dozel. There might be another one or two. Maybe Adam Metzger. I can't remember. But yeah, I still got something there.
I still got something.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how life throws you curveballs.
Don't tell Cheyenne about it
because he
knows.
Yeah, because you set that against Rensselaer if I'm not mistaken, yes, or tied it against Rensselaer, and then you end up going to Rensselaer and working with Chris Meeks.
Well, and that was Chris Meeks' first loss as a head coach too. So yes, I let him know that.
Oh yeah, how'd that work out? How were the coaches' meetings there when you first got there at Rensselaer?
Oh, he put me in my place right away. So
I actually ran into Chris this summer because I took my girls' basketball team to Rensselaer to play Coach Radtke's basketball team, and Meeks comes walking in. He's doing driver's ed. He goes, "Hey, Coach, how's it going?" I said, "Hey, buddy, how you been?" He goes, "I haven't seen you in forever, but Chris is a great guy." But offensively last night, I tell you what, you had the triple option going, and that's the beauty of the triple option. You run it until they stop it. And last night in that first half, I tell you what, Brock Benson was a man as a sophomore.
Yeah, I mean, Brock and Cheyenne both had over 20 carries, and Brock just about 160 yards for the game. I actually got a text message from Gary Cox this morning, and he's saying, "Man, he reminds me of one of those old school North Judson fullbacks." And yeah, and he's not just sometimes a fullback. People see it as just putting a guard in the backfield. He's not a guard. He's got some speed. He's got some moves.
He made jump cuts last night.
Absolutely.
And I said it on the air last night. I asked Nathan. I said, many years have we been doing this? How many times have you seen a fullback at 6 foot, 220 pounds, be able to make a jump cut at the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, and really, I mean, he's a running back playing fullback. I mean, and that's so he's not that guard type. So him pounding the rock was awesome, and he's not going to go down on first contact. Aldrich actually didn't get too many carries himself because normally he really does off the triple. but that first option was there with the fullback, and we took it. And then later in the game, we're trying to kind of run out the clock and just kind of seal the deal. It was a lot of I formation, giving the ball to Cheyenne. And of course, we got to mention what a night! So many things going on, but Cheyenne breaks the the school rushing record last night. So that happened right there at the end of the fourth quarter. And you try to set stuff up, you never know how it's going to happen. But I wanted that to happen at the Knox game, just with all the things going on, and it did happen. Luckily, that run at the end of the first half, they got called back, and it was the right. There was a penalty there. The officials were right, but my gosh, the effort on that. There was no time left, and
I had mentioned that.
And I'm not taking a knee. We're going. Coach Howard's like, what are you doing normally? But I'm not taking a knee. We're going to give our best guy and what I think is the best guy on the field offensively a chance to get a score, and he did, but just got called back.
Well, I said with no time on the clock, because it really puts Knox in a tough position, because the time had run out. If you decline the penalty, well, then the touchdown stands. But then, we're going to give Judson an untimed down with a kid number 40 in the backfield. And I said it. I said, hey, don't be surprised if North Judson runs the same play.
And then you did.
We did. Of course, at that point, and he still got some yards, but he was a little bit tired after that touchdown.
So I mentioned when he walked back over to the sideline, he just was like, he was just so upset because he had just ran like 50-plus yards.
And what a run. I mean, just breaking tackles, cutting, jumping, going across from one sideline to sideline. And that's just what we've seen from him over the years. And he's a special player. But like, you mentioned a little bit ago, both of you. I mean, we got other guys. I mean,
right.
And Brock Benson's a guy who can turn on. But I'm just letting you know, we got some other guys in that backfield too that maybe you haven't seen yet, but when their time comes, they can get it done as well.
I thought last night, Aldrich Harper really had command of the offense. And I don't know if early on in that first drive, you guys come out in your power formation. You got the two fullbacks up in front, and then all of a sudden they switch over to the left-hand side. I didn't know if that was maybe an audible that Aldrich, if you saw something and he switched the play from running to the right to the left. How much control does he have in being able to audible there at the line of scrimmage?
He does, He has the opportunity to audible. There's no doubt about it. The player time, I don't know if he actually got an audible on that or not. I think that might have been just called, but in every game he makes some calls and gets the adjustment and does a great job with it. And that's what you get when you get a veteran quarterback. And he's a coach's son. He's coach, his dad's assistant coach, so he knows how things work. And he does a great job running the show. I thought he
had great control of the offense last night, and was more than happy to take what Knox was given, and that was Brock Benson in that first half. Go ahead.
Well, and a big thing too, we got to make sure we mention this. I mean, our second score on our second possession, just talking about him having composure.
Oh, that throw was beautiful.
It was 4th and 15.
Right.
And we got the ball, whatever it was, on the 18, 20, 22-yard line, because it was a 22-yard touchdown pass. And we just sent 4 verticals. And, Knox, and I don't blame them being smart, they doubled Cheyenne. They had 2 guys go with them. Well, that left a little seam open there for Josiah McDaniel. Had a nice route, nice catch, but it was a great throw. And just to stand there, I mean, he looked so cool and calm and collected, just standing there in that pocket. Line gave him plenty of time to throw it, and he completed it.
And he was actually looking to the left at first, and then came right back into the right. And as soon as Josiah had a step, that ball was in the air. I mean, I was right in line with it. It was perfect. And again, 4th and 15 put you up 14-0. That play was huge, and that was the play of the game last night in what we said after the game.
Yeah, that was definitely an awesome play, and I don't know how much time we got left here, but there's a few other guys. I mean, just defensively, like I said, we had such a great effort, and it was everybody involved. I mean, Johnny Conover really stepped up at D tackle. The Sanchez kid just really. I mean, CJ did a great job. He's a freshman, and he's really learning how to play D tackle. Not at a middle school level, but at a high school level, and he showed it last night. Logan Radtke.
I was about to mention
Logan Radtke is doing what Logan Radtke does, and
that was a huge stop.
He's a man out there, and he has a passion for the game that's just contagious. Jackson Boyd, Connor Benson really helps out. Quentin Frazier inside. The DBs, I really felt like there were some times earlier in the year where they, got beat deep in the first few games. But Cole Wilcox, Josiah McDaniel, Gabe Ellis, those guys really did a good job of making sure nothing got behind them, because Knox has speed. I mean, Knox has, as a track coach here, I would love to have those Knox kids on a 4x1 team, what they got in the backfield. But we were able to contain that speed, and that's hats off to all of our guys. And Sam Holland, Aldrich Harper, another 2 more guys on the defense. Just outstanding performance.
Well, and I mentioned last night, I know we talked a little bit last week about Harper, but there was a moment last night I wanted to bring this up. He is just so cool and collected. He walks over to the sideline, he knows the game's in hand, and the music is playing over the loudspeaker, and he just starts strumming the guitar like he's a rock star out there. I mean, this cool cat, he's just out there, and you're just telling him to play, no big deal, no problem. He trots out there, tells him his calls, gets his guys in line, sets it, snaps it. I mean, that's coolness under pressure if I've ever seen it from a senior. I mean, that's maturity.
And the very first practice that we had in August, I mean, I talked about a lot of things with these guys and expectations, but I really talked about, we need to have a confidence out there, never cockiness. We don't want cockiness. That's not us, but a confidence and just having a little swagger. And that doesn't mean, you're rubbing it in the other team's face or anything. That's not what we want to do, but just having some swagger. There's something about that, and I like that. And as long as it's us with that swagger, with us, celebrating with us, and not putting it in the other team's face, I think I like that. I saw the same thing. So that's pretty cool.
It was cool. It was a moment, and I mentioned it. But you've got Winamac next week. We're going to be at that broadcast.
Well, I was just going to say, 2 Rich Grove Township guys right here. I've always said, and I'll say this to the day I die. Knox is a big rival, being from North Judson, but us Rich Grove guys, Winamac is a little bit more.
There is a little bit more to it, and I've said that in the past. But boy, Knox felt like something this year. I can't lie.
Yeah, right.
It did. But no, there's something about the Winamac game, and what I like about Winamac is I think it resembles North Judson in a way where they got Burgess, Coach Burgess running the show now, and he's a Winamac guy. If you look at their staff, it's Winamac guys. So far they haven't been having the success this year, but I know that those guys are going to do the right thing, and they're going to get it rolling in the right direction. So we're going to be prepared. It's a rival. You don't know what can happen in a rivalry game, so we got to be on our game and ready for it. But yeah, there's a lot of respect for what they do with their program and just Coach Burgess as a person.
Okay, one more thing here before we let you go. After that physical contest last night with Knox, how's the health?
Oh, we're banged up. But I don't think it's anybody that's going to be out for next week. But, yeah, we're definitely banged up. I mean, Knox brought it, and they laid some hits on us, and we were doing the same. And, so nothing I think I need to mention. But, yeah, we definitely got some aches and pains this morning.
Well, head coach Brett Lambert of the North Judson-San Blue Jays, thank you for your time. We appreciate it as always. And we're going to take a break, but don't go anywhere. We have the newly inducted Indiana Football Hall of Fame coach, Russ Radtke, in the lobby, ready to talk to us about last night. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
This presentation of our area's local high school sports is sponsored by Pulaski Memorial Hospital in Winamac. Pulaski Memorial Hospital is dedicated to providing excellent health care to improve the health and quality of life for the people and the community they serve. They will meet the community's needs and exceed their expectations by creating the best possible health care experience. For more information of the services they provide, call 946-2100.
Collins Insurance Agency in Knox has done it again. They have earned the distinction of preferred agency partner from the Western Reserve Insurance Company.
Can't touch this.
So what does that mean for you? Collins Insurance Agency provides themselves of taking care of its community. That means providing the best insurance that keeps you and your family safe in a time of need. And with this honor, Collins Insurance Agency looks forward to providing Stark and surrounding counties the best customer service you and your family deserve. Collins Insurance Agency in Knox, living the golden rule by treating you like family. Coke knows there's nothing better than the beat of the summer. The beat begins in a simple and mellow place, from low-key to hyped up. So we're helping you and your friends drink it all in with 100 days of the artist's experiences, tracks, and concerts with the best names in music, all at Coke Studio. Drink, scan, and enjoy your Coke so you never miss out on all the amazing offers we're dropping this summer.
Let's continue the conversation with area high school coaches and more on the Saturday Sports Line.
Welcome back to the Saturday Sports Line here from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios. Mitch Columbi with sports analyst Chris McGowan, head coach of the Knox Redskins, Russ Radtke. Russ, how are you this morning?
We're doing just fine.
Well, congratulations last night. Let's get that out of the way early. First things first, that was quite a nice award they awarded you with last night. You must be pleased with that, I would assume.
It's just part of a program, not looking for any individual acclamations or anything like that. We're just trying to put our best foot forward every day and do the best thing we can for all our kids, and what comes as a result of it, that's fine, So I'm not putting anything down about it, but, there's a lot of things in the world that are that are famous, and I don't think I'm one of those situations. So I just try to be humble in that respect and realize that we're just working for the kids, and that's all that's important.
Well, let me go ahead and say this, and then we'll get into the game last night. From a guy that grew up loving Blue Jay football, played Blue Jay football. I'll be honest with you. When I got up today and I saw the headline in the paper that you were leaving and heading to Connorsville, I was ticked. But again, I think I speak for a lot of people when they say that the award, the Hall of Fame induction was well deserved, and it's okay to take a step back and look at the things that you've done right now. I know that you're not into that kind of thing because there's a lot of stuff that you still want to accomplish, but I think it was well deserved, and I just want to say kudos and congratulations, and it's okay to accept it.
Well, I appreciate it. As I said before, it's the community. It's what North Judson has done before, and how hard we've worked at it, and all the schools and programs we've been at, and the progress of what our future is something that's got to keep working at, and we're just never trying to do anything individualized.
Well, I would also say that you have quite the fan base here in Stark County as a whole, I would say, at this point. So I'd say this long in your career, you have really done well for this community, adding to that note, and you've been taking what the community gives you, and you're turning it right back around into a positive for these kids, and I think that's what you're supposed to do as a head coach.
Well, that's the important part of it. We got out-coached last night, though. So we're going to get coaching again, and we're going to get working at it. And the staff's going to work 100% like we've done before. We felt that we could do some things offensively and defensively last night, and North Judson proved you can't. We've got to get our kids able to do what they're expected to do only because of the result of what they can do. That's the thing. Can you do this or can't you? And we found that we were able to at downs and distances. We didn't get any turnovers. We had chances at a fumble recovery, an interception, a block punt. Got to have those things in this type of ball game. Field position was totally fighting the entire night, and those things are something that's got to come about because of better coaching, and we'll work on that.
Okay, so going into last night, what was your biggest concern going into last night's contest?
Well, we felt that the strength of their front was something we were going to have to do offensively, and we were not able to sustain the line of scrimmage. It's just what it came down to. We had opportunities to complete passes that were dropped, or we had individuals that ended up out on situations that they're unfamiliar with. And then I think defensively, how many times we put them in fourth down? I mean, it's 8-0, and we had them fourth down in 25 or 30, and they complete it for a touchdown. We double coverage and do a great job on a man that is a man, number 40. That's a man out there, and so they couldn't go to him. But the quarterback is able to come off and read the second phase and throw a dart right in between, and they score a touchdown. So those are things that great teams do when they're expected of them. And it's, this is a tough conference. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's this Smash Mouth, LaVille, Triton, North Judson, Knox is just right in it. And we feel that the game itself and the chances that were given to us, Judson was just a step ahead. They were able to get into the position at the right time and execute individual situations that maybe we as coaches have to try to find out what we're better at and put our boys in the best position to do that.
Offensively last night, it just seemed like you guys couldn't get a rhythm going offensively. Something I'm sure you've watched the film, something that you've seen on film that you would like to have back game plan wise to try to get you more consistency on that side of the ball?
Well, I think it's just that the players have to execute the play when it's called for, and sometimes you don't get the 15, 30-yarders.
Right.
You got to nickel dime and get what you can. And we did that, but then when we got in those third downs and fourth downs, we weren't able to execute in the strength, stamina. But as I said before, that defense that North Judson has is pretty aggressive, and they come right at you, and they do a very good job with it.
So who's in the weight room this morning?
Well, the coaches are out with the JV working hard, and the other ones are coming into that stamina. But as Coach Lambert had said a week or two ago that he feels this is the strongest team he's had, weight-wise, weightlifting, strength-wise. And when it came down to one-on-one and tackling and going at each other, they outmaneuvered us. And we have to find a way to get two people where we needed just one to make that tackle. But, it definitely is something that is something that's got to get stronger and better at it. And you can't get stronger today for tomorrow other than by working at it year-round. And you could see that that's great tradition. And North Judson's got a program that's filling out and going in the weight room and doing a great job with it. And I hope them the greatest success from it.
Okay, so the Judson game is a thing of the past. Next week, you guys make the trip up to Walkerton, John Glenn. What do you know about the Falcons?
Well, the important factor here is that they're 3-1 right now, and this is our sectional. So now we're playing a team that's going to be very aggressive in that part, that we've got to try to do what we can into this tournament. It's the only sectional opponent we play. And so we need to find out what we can do and our stamina is against those individuals. They had a great game last night against Jimtown. Of course, that's a battle like a North Judson Knox. It's a Jimtown John Glenn, and we'll have to put our things right and get our stamina. I would say that we've lost to two teams that are 4-0. Okay,
right,
and that have really got it going right now. That have that part. We were 2-1, but we have to bring that level of intensity, and I think we'll get it back. We'll do a better job at it, and it's going to be fun. That's for sure.
I know your years at New Prairie, you've run into John Barron, who's now the head coach at John Glenn, who's a longtime Plymouth coach. Is he doing a lot of the same stuff he did at Plymouth, or has he changed stuff up offensively, defensively? Is that familiarity something that you can use to your advantage?
No, he's going with some basics, starting his new program. He's running a wing tee, slot tee offense, and nothing is similar at all to what they did at Plymouth. But you got to adapt to the kids you have and what your time is and when you get started and so forth. And they've bought into it quite well. And defensively, a little bit something different also. So I would say he's using the coaches, and they're coaching their kids and doing a great job with it.
The one thing I find it's so interesting about a lot of coaches in this area that I've met is the memory that you guys have. Like, how much film footage are you guys watching to where you can just sit here and bring that right up off the top of your head to talk about how he coached at Plymouth those years ago, and the memory that you guys, the other day you were telling me about something that happened in 1982 I mean, how do you remember all this stuff? I mean, you've been in thousands of games, probably hundreds and hundreds of games. I mean, you remember the most minute details, too. It's so fascinating to me.
Well, it's a situation that you've got to I guess like when you play the game of chess and whatever, okay, you remember what you did on this guy's pawn move and his bishop move, okay? And last night after the game, I was talking with Les Thornton's son, Brian, who came all the way up from Florida. Then I talked with David Hall and Mike Hall. And we brought up the memory that Mike Hall, in a big game against Knox, which had been back in the early, late 70s or whatever, he decided to go under and did a wrong read, but he picked up a fumble recovery, ran it, I believe, all the way back for a touchdown in the Bradley era. Right here, down here in the Sandburrs in the corner behind the stadium out here.
See, this is the fun stuff.
If he doesn't do that at the right time and be at the right spot to pick that ball up and go with it, it could be, and they're down there right at the end zone, ready to go in. So you got to do things at times you feel that are in the right direction, even though at the situation that if the ball would have been caught and the runner would have had the ball and got it into the area, it might have been a touchdown. But you got to create things and maybe cause the fumble and create the situations. But again, that's going back to, you name some great names and so forth with some intelligent minds in their bodies and so forth. I think some coaches and some of us still have a few memories that are in our minds that still can be recalled. And if we can do those things, keep getting them to the kids and they believe in us, we got a future.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. You hear Coach every week talk about making these kids better kids and getting them ready for life. As a coach, you're always looking for those moments that is a teachable moment, and those are the ones that you remember.
Well, the teaching moment here is the fact that, as I told both you guys the other day, we don't have much back on defense from last year. Our defense is pretty tough, okay?
Right.
And that's nothing yet that we don't have them. They just graduated. They maturated out.
Right.
And so we have to bring those kids along. All our linebackers are new. Our defensive front is new. We have a returning secondary of 3 seniors, which do a pretty good job in all reality. But how to get that part coming along is only going to be through the experience. And if we can keep staying together, do what we're doing, and you saw how we were ready for the tournament run last year.
Exactly.
We'll do that same thing with these kids and bring them to that level and show them that they can get to where we want them to be, and we'll be all right.
All right, same question to you after that brutal physical game last night. Both sides, how's the health of the Redskins this morning?
Oh, we got a little ankle bender and so forth here and there. We'll have to see how James comes back and so forth from his injury. But just as many of our people that were having the breakdown in lactic acid in the legs and so forth, getting cramps.
I didn't believe it.
But they were too.
Right.
And that's because it's a physical ball game. You're banged around, bruised. You feel good about it afterwards in that aspect that you hit people. But we'll be in good shape for next week. We're still, without Hayden Brinkley, one of our defensive linemen, he'll probably have a scope here in a couple of days, and then they'll clean that up, that meniscus, and we'll have him back here within about 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time. Congratulations once again on the award, and tough loss last night, but we look forward to seeing what you do against John Glenn, and thanks so much for being gracious with your time.
Well, I think when you get that bad taste in your mouth, you got to find a way to spit it out with a mouthwash or whatever, and I guarantee you that we're going to be doing that here starting this morning, and we're going to provide a great football program yet by working hard as we can.
Well, you're getting me juiced up. I'm ready to go to the weight room.
All right.
All right, Coach. Hey, thanks a lot for your time.
All right, gentlemen. Thanks.
We're going to take a quick break to the top of the hour. We've got the Athlete of the Week interview with Giselle Villegas coming up next. Josh Burgess in the next hour, as well as Buzz Schoff from the South Central Satellites. They're all on hand. Stay tuned. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
From the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios, quality care closer to home. You're listening to WKVI FM 99.3. Knox, North Judson, Winamac, playing the best of vinyl gold. A service of Kankakee Valley Broadcasting.
Fox News, I'm Laura Cantor. Former President Trump's legal team and the Justice Department submitting their choices for the special master position to review Mar-a-Lago documents. As Britons continue to mourn the death of Queen Elizabeth, Charles III will be formally proclaimed king in a televised ceremony Saturday. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal has more.
While Prince Charles became King Charles III upon the death of the Queen, the Accession Council makes it official. While their first meeting is without the king, he does attend the second meeting and makes a declaration.
The man accused of the Christmas parade attack in Waukesha, Wisconsin last year, changing his plea.
40-year-old Daryl Brooks, the man accused of killing 6 people and injuring dozens, allegedly driving an SUV through a Christmas parade, withdrawing his not guilty by reason of insanity plea. A judge accepting the withdrawal and granting a request from Brooks' attorney to reschedule a jury status hearing.
That's Fox's Kristen Goodwin. America's listening to Fox News.
O'Reilly. This is Claudia's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
I had just moved to a new city and barely even knew where the grocery store was yet. When my car wouldn't start one morning, I didn't know who to ask about local shops. But I remembered a name from back home, O'Reilly Auto Parts. I called and they pointed me to a great mechanic just down the street. Now, I feel a little more at home.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
From the K99.3 Weather Center, here's your forecast. It'll be partly cloudy with an isolated thunderstorm today, high of 83, 20% chance of rain today. Tonight, cloudy, chance of thunderstorms, low of 63, 40% chance of rain. Sunday, cloudy, more rain in the forecast, high of 72, there's a 90% chance of rain. Sunday night, cloudy, more rain, low of 53, 50% chance of rain. And Monday, partly cloudy and 65. That's your weather forecast from the station that brings you Vinyl Gold, the best music of the 60s and 70s, WKVI.
It's time now for Hour 2 of the Saturday Sports Line with your host, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI Sports Director, Mitch Columbi, and sports analyst, Chris McGowan.
Welcome back to the Saturday Sports Line as the second hour is underway here at Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI. We are so glad you've joined us this morning. Had a chance to talk with our Athlete of the Week from last week. Of course, that was Giselle Villegas, the soccer star from Culver community. The Cavs had quite the week when I talked to her, scoring 18 goals combined as a team. Giselle had 10 of them, not to mention 6 assists. It's safe to say this interview was needed. Here's my interview with our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week from last week, Culver Community Cavalier, Giselle Villegas. Okay, 10 goals and 6 assists in 1 week. If that's something you read on an opposing player you're about to go up against, what would you think?
To be honest, I'd be kind of nervous. Yeah.
So it sounds like you're very competitive when it comes to soccer. Where did you learn to play soccer like this? Who taught you so much about the game when you were starting out?
Well, first I used to watch my dad go with his friends and play soccer, but my mom's ex-boyfriend taught me everything, and my coach now, AJ Nice, taught me a lot.
And what are your parents' names?
Sandra Villegas and Sergio Villegas.
What do you hope this team to accomplish this season?
To win mostly all of our games and going to sectionals.
When did you start playing soccer?
First grade.
First grade, so you've been playing quite a while. Yeah. Is there anyone on the team you can always count on to be there for you when you need it the most?
Kaylee Hamilton and Cassidy Banks.
And what is it that they provide for the team and you in general when you're out there?
They usually help me a lot, and they usually make sure my head's up and we encourage each other.
And is there anyone that you want to say hello to for as a shout out today?
My teammates.
Your teammates.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me a little bit about what Coach Nice brings to the team and how the morale is. What's it like playing for him?
Playing for him is really fun. Sometimes he pushes us, which I love it because we can't be soft. We gotta put all of our work in.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, a great interview there as we had a chance to catch up with Giselle Villegas. We wish her the best of luck as the Culver Cavaliers soccer team is a serious threat, whoever they're facing, that's for sure. We're going to take a break, but don't go anywhere. Josh Burgess from Winamac is next. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Life is busy. At First Farmers Bank and Trust, we know that your time is valuable. That's why we offer mobile banking, online account opening, and mobile check deposit. So you can take care of your banking and get back to the people who matter most to you while we take care of the people who matter most to us, our customers. Visit us online at ffbt.com to learn more. First Farmers Bank and Trust. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Since 1936, Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning have always taken pride in doing the job right. Third-generation owner Brian Hammond and his family have always set the standard when it comes to taking care of all your heating and cooling needs. Making your home a comfortable home is the absolute top priority. If you are uncomfortable in your home, give them a call at 574-936-4660. Follow them on Facebook. Let Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning help you take control of your comfort.
Coke knows there's nothing better than the beat of the summer. The beat begins in a simple and mellow place, from low-key to hyped up. So we're helping you and your friends drink it all in with 100 days of the artist's experiences, tracks, and concerts with the best names in music, all at Coke Studio. Drink, scan, and enjoy your Coke so you never miss out on all the amazing offers we're dropping this summer.
You're listening to Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowan on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Welcome back to the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios. Mitch Columbi here with sports analyst Chris McGowan. We have head coach of the Winamac Warriors, Josh Burgess, in studio. So gracious with his time. We appreciate it. Tough loss last night, Coach, to LaVille 41-0. But you said you saw some good things from your players. Let's hear some names that you're excited about for the future for them.
Yeah, hey, scoreboard-wise, maybe didn't show, but we're making some progress with our kids. We had a better week of practice this week. We're getting them to be a little more consistent, and I always talk about that every week, just about the consistency, especially with our kids, is important. Give LaVille a lot of credit. Coach Haustrasser, they're top notch. They're one of the better teams in our conference, and they've done just a really nice job with what they do. All three phases of the game, they're solid, and they're going to be a tough out for anybody as we go forward. But we got some things done last night, I thought. I was really happy with Cash Roth, our sophomore quarterback. He's starting to grow up a little bit, and he took some shots last night, bounced right back up, made some really nice throws, was 11 for 18, had right around 130 yards passing. So did a good job there and got the ball spread out. Had some receivers finally get into the passing game a little bit. Jay Spennell had 3 catches. Talon Braun had 2 really nice catches last night. A couple other guys got involved as well. So saw some good things out of him, and we're seeing flashes at times. We just need to keep working on the consistency through 48 minutes of football.
Well, that's got to make you feel good because on paper you look at LaVille. They bring back all 22 starters from a year ago. The Winamac Warriors graduate 22 seniors. So on paper, it's the opposite ends. But you see those flashes. That's got to make you feel good in what it is that you're trying to do as a coaching staff there at Winamac. And again, it's just with a young group. It's all about building that consistency and building that confidence.
Yeah, we're just looking for improvement every week, and as long as we get a little bit better every week, building toward that tournament run at the end of the season, we're going to be in good shape. I thought too, defensively, about a quarter or so, we hung in there with them up front. That was one of my main concerns going in was how our defensive line would hold up against their offensive line. They've got just an experienced group of kids that are big, physical, and fast. And I thought as the game went on, they wore us down defensively pretty well, and we had some trouble there. But again, kids are working hard. The effort's there. We just need to keep working on our consistency, and we'll keep doing that.
Well, Coach, What position did you play when you played for Winamac?
Oh, I was a fullback, and I was a defensive back and linebacker. So as I kind of got a little bit bigger, I grew in from corner more to a linebacker. But yeah.
Well, the more and more we've gone on, I've realized I haven't really asked you about your Winamac career, and I just was interested to see what position you played. But last night was homecoming, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Correct.
So the crowd, I saw on social media, it looked like the crowd was in full force on hand supporting the Warriors. It's got to be a good thing to know that you've got the support from the community behind you, even in these tough times right now. Like you said, you've got a young team. You're learning a lot. Cash Roth is coming into his own, as well as the other younger guys. So at the ground level, it has to be a little humbling to know that when the time comes, when things get rolling the right direction, you'll remember back to these times and know that it was a good learning lesson for everyone.
Yeah, in every game's that. We just want to make sure that we learn from what we're doing and just keep working on our consistency and improvement throughout the year and just build that tournament run. And again, hey, wins and losses, we win every game we're in. I say that all the time too, but we're playing high school football. We want to give the kids a good experience, and you just want to make sure that they're growing and moving in the right direction. I think we are.
Okay, so my question is, usually when you schedule a homecoming game, it's against an opponent that, yeah. So who decided, hey, let's go ahead and have LaVille as our homecoming?
I think just the way that our schedule works. The way our schedule works, there's, the front half especially, but, you look at the entire schedule. I've talked about it before, top to bottom. I'd put our schedule up against anybody in our conference. And, hey, North White down a little bit. We talked about last week, but, geez, West Central, Coach Hall, after a couple tough years, he's got those kids rolling too. There's not an easy game anywhere on our schedule.
Because next week, you got North Judson coming to Roudebush Field, and then in 2 weeks,
Culver,
West Central, which is a rival.
And you've already faced Knox, Pioneer, LaVille. So you're not lying when you say that. I mean, this is a tough schedule for anybody.
And hey, we want to play those tough games. It's going to help us come tournament time, just to get us battle tested, and our schedule's definitely going to do that.
Well, yeah, because if you can get through those 9 games healthy, when you come to the second season where everybody's 0-0, good things can happen.
Yeah, exactly right.
So, all right, last night LaVille Lancers come to town. Obviously, they're right up there, probably at the top of the conference. Probably could win the conference. But again, next week, North Judson. What concerns you about the Blue Jays?
A lot of concerns. Coach Lambert and his staff, they do an excellent job. I heard you guys talking to both Coach Lambert and Coach Radtke. I was impressed with Judson's defensive effort. I haven't watched a lot of film yet, but, man, Knox has been scoring a ton of points off everybody, and to come in and get that shut down the way they did, just really impressive. Kind of similar to the Ville, they've got kids everywhere that have played for a couple of years now, and they're just solid in all 3 phases of the game. And that's a credit to what they do up there. They'll have their kids prepared. It is a rivalry game. We kind of talked about that a little bit after our game last night. I know that's one of the games I always look toward when I was playing. Hey, all the other teams, it's good to play them, but Judson week was always a special week, and we'll be ready to go. I think our kids won't need extra motivation, and we'll be looking forward to the opportunity on Friday night.
Well, it has to be an exciting event. North Judson and Winamac. Not too much farther away, really, from Knox to North Judson than North Judson to Winamac. It's just in the same county as Stark County.
Well, you're getting indoctrinated to all these.
You need to tell me this.
All these backdoor rivalries that butt up.
And the one thing I've noticed is in this area of Indiana, everyone is very serious about their territory. Even if it's in the same county, it is a very territorial area up here, I've noticed.
Well, I'll tell you a story real quick. Coach Roth, Winamac, longtime Winamac coach, Hall of Fame coach. He every time I see him, there's that Rich Grove boy. There's that Rich Grove Township kid. One that should be, for some reason, Eastern Pulaski School Corporation didn't want Rich Grove Township in Pulaski County. So, North Judson, we'll take them. All right. And there's been some great athletes that have come from Rich Grove Township that should be.
Judson.
Yeah, go to North Judson. That probably should be at Winamac. And Coach Roth, to this day, every time I see him, it's not, hey, Chris, how's it going? There's that Rich Grove Township kid.
Well, it's just special rivalry. And you just look at the coaching staff. You know what? Coach Lambert has all Judson guys. We've got all Winamac guys. So, there's a lot of pride, and there's it's a lot of fun. We respect what Judson does up there, and in the job that they do year in and year out. So it's just a fun opportunity, fun for the kids. It'll be a good atmosphere. I know Judson will bring a huge crowd down to our place, and we'll have people in the bleachers too. So just really looking forward to it.
You're being so kind. It's almost like you are assuming Brett Lambert may be listening right now.
You don't want to give anybody any bulletin board material. We don't need that. So no, we do. We really respect what they do, but we're gonna get our kids ready to go, and we'll be ready at 7:30 on Friday.
And what's amazing about this area too is the fact that you look at the coaching staffs, and you talked about Winamac being all Winamac guys for the most part, Judson being mostly Judson guys, but the time you spent at Knox. My brother was with you, and who's now on Judson's staff for how long? The 4 or 5 years that you were here calling the defense. So there's those relationships. Kyle Kling
I guess I didn't know that.
Kyle Kling at Culver, was a guy that I've coached with at North Judson, and he was on the Judson staff for forever. So Kyle Kling's the guy that's coached with Coach Lambert, coached with my brother. There's this camaraderie of all these
Everyone
staffs.
knows each other.
Yeah, everybody knows. Yeah, it's like Cheers. Everybody knows each other. Everybody knows your name. So, but it's a great working relationship, and just it builds on that respect that the programs have for each other.
Where all have you coached?
Oh, I was at Frontier to start off with back in Winamac, and I was up at Knox for a little while. And it'll be good to see Danny. I always loved running to Danny, and I just enjoyed my time up here at Knox with him, and just the energy he has on a day in and day out basis. But
I got to meet him last night.
Yeah, just it'll be good to see him next week too.
Well, that's great. We're looking forward to your game next week. We're going to be there, so we're very excited about that. North Judson versus the Winamac Warriors. Kickoff start time for 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Boy, that's a late start time.
Yeah, I'm past my bedtime, but it'll be all right. I'll get through it. One more question, Coach. How's the health of your ball club?
We're in pretty good shape. Maddox Buzinski went out in the fourth quarter with an ankle. I think he's going to be fine. Might be a little sore this morning, but still working on getting Zane Bell back. Didn't play him last night at all. I think his leg and his back is getting better, but we just want to get him healthy for the back end of our season. So those are the two main ones. Just again, typical bumps and bruises.
Cano's back.
Still waiting on him to clear concussion protocol. So I know he's had a couple setbacks.
He's
too.
a senior, isn't he?
He's a senior. So we're hoping to get those kids back and hoping that they'll be okay. So other than that, just the normal bumps and bruises that come along with being up to week 5 in high school football.
That's right.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time. I know you're driving quite away from Pioneer, so it really means a lot. Or Royal Center, I should say. I guess it's Royal Center, correct?
Just outside of Star City, so not quite that far.
Oh, okay. My apologies.
Yep, no problem.
But anyway, we appreciate you being gracious with your time. It's so much fun to catch up with you, and we're looking forward to Friday night. It'll be a lot of fun down there in Roudabush Field.
Yeah, hey, thanks you guys too. Appreciate the coverage every week. Appreciate the opportunity. Thanks very much.
Absolutely, Coach. Well, that's head coach of the Winamac Warriors, Josh Burgess. In the studio, we're going to take a break, come right back, and talk to South Central Satellites head coach Buzz Schoff. You're listening to the Saturday Sports Line on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
This presentation of our area's local high school sports is sponsored by Pulaski Memorial Hospital in Winamac. Pulaski Memorial Hospital is dedicated to providing excellent health care to improve the health and quality of life for the people and the community they serve. They will meet the community's needs and exceed their expectations by creating the best possible health care experience. For more information of the services they provide, call 946-2100.
Since 1936, Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning have always taken pride in doing the job right. Third-generation owner Brian Hammond and his family have always set the standard when it comes to taking care of all your heating and cooling needs. Making your home a comfortable home is the absolute top priority. If you are uncomfortable in your home, give them a call at 574-936-4660. Follow them on Facebook. Let Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning help you take control of your comfort.
Welcome to Marion University's newest location, Ancilla College of Marion University. Marion's newest campus location in Plymouth is your home for an on-campus college experience. From living in the dorms to being a collegiate student-athlete, Marion University is ranked 3rd most innovative Midwest university by U.S. News & World Report. For more information about our 2- or 4-year degrees, go to www.marion.edu/Ancilla. That's www.marion.edu/Ancilla.
Here's more with area high school coaches as we return to the Saturday Sports Line from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios on K99.3.
Welcome back, Buzz Schoff and Company in the studio to talk about South Central Satellites. We've been joking off the air a little bit. Just having a fun time here at Kankakee Valley Broadcasting.
Well, I wouldn't really consider it a joke, but
this is a fun time. We're having a good time. I'm getting a lot more comfortable with this. I'm getting a little bit more cavalier.
Well, you're
well, don't use the word cavalier.
Sorry, that's a cold. Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
A familiarity with
Culver
these
liked
guys.
that one.
Yeah.
Culver, Mike Zehner liked that one.
Right.
Yeah, you're getting there's a familiarity that you're building
I'm
here.
getting comfortable
with how each one of these personalities are because they're all unique.
Yeah, and I told you last night I've got to be careful because some of these intense situations on the football field, Buzz, when I'm calling the play, like I get so excited and into the game that I kind of black out. And I told
out-of-body experience.
I mean, seriously, I told the athletic director for Knox, Richard Warren, last week. I said, there's times where I will come to and think, well, what did I just say? I don't remember what I just said, and I'm thinking, boy, I'm going to be in trouble one day if I.
Well, as long as you're not the play caller, I guess you can get away with that. You know, if you're calling plays and you have that situation and you don't realize what you called, well, you might be in bad shape. Which, happens sometimes. You're like, what did I just call? But
well, and I got to meet your athletic director, John Haggard. I went and talked to him. Got an interview. He's going to be on next Saturday. We were going to have him on today, but time just didn't work out, and. It was a good thing to meet with him, and I'm meeting with someone else. We'll talk about that a little later in the broadcast, but I'm getting my South Central connections down, and you've got a nice little area over there. I love what the football field, all the signs and stuff. I was there in July. I didn't have anything, so now it's all set up. It looks really nice.
Yep, they set all that up yesterday. You could hear them, posting up some signs in the gym.
Yeah.
For baseball and softball. We ran out of space for our baseball and softball sectional area. We ran out of space, so they expanded the board, got new boards, so they could have more sectional championships, which is a good thing. And then they put in the
and that's on the softball field, right?
And then they put the softball runner-up, big, huge Indiana symbol with the state runner-up thing on the softball press box. Looks really nice. And then they put two signs on the football press box, which we've wanted for forever, because when you pull into South Central, like that's what you see the football press box. It's right in front of you when you pull in the parking lot. And we said, we always said like that's the viewpoint, like make it so make it to the point where it's like you're not confused at where you're at. You're at South Central, and you're playing the Satellites. So it looks really, really nice, and John did a great job getting that done.
Absolutely.
Because when you drive past the school, you see our baseball field.
Yep.
And they got that all decked out with lining of the fence and stuff like that. You're not confused when you pass South Central High School.
Well, and I just
where you're at.
Yeah, the colors are there.
And I just saw something. I need to verify this. Of course, it's on social media. You can't believe everything on social media. But I did see where, you can't believe everything on social media. Where the softball, and correct me if I'm wrong, Buzz, the softball and the baseball teams will now be competing in 2A. Is that correct?
Yeah, so that was something that we thought was coming down the line, just because you have not to sound politically incorrect, but you got all those pop-up schools that are popping up, and they have basketball teams, they have baseball teams. They don't usually have football teams. So football-wise, like we're sitting pretty steady at 1A, but it affects our basketball team, which our basketball teams, our girls and boys basketball team, they've been playing 2A for the past couple years, so they've been there.
Okay.
And then next year our baseball and softball team will bump up because of the enrollment numbers, just because there's so many teams below them.
Sure.
Our softball team probably has avoided some success factor bumping up over the years, just because of how it's calibrated and the years that it's calibrated.
Right.
Our softball team's been fairly successful for the past 6 or 7 years, but they've always kind of avoided that success factor part of it. And now they're going to play 2A, and I was looking at that the other day. The JV baseball coach is my junior high head football coach,
okay.
And he was just in my classroom the other day, and I had it pulled up because I had heard we went up to 2A, so I was looking, and they don't have sectional alignments or whatever, but I like to look at, okay, well, who's going to be in the sectional? Like, what's the sectional going to look like? And obviously, you got Judson up in 2A, so they'll probably be in our sectional, and then after that, it's
who knows
where because we're in LaPorte County, so LaPorte County is kind of that. You can go east or you can go west, depending on where they need you. So we were looking at it and just kind of joking around like, well, it could be this team. Well, hopefully it's not this team, but it might be this team. Oh, I don't want to drive that far.
Yeah, the speculation. Yeah, you run rampant. Okay, so last night,
Wheeler,
35-0. You've come in every week. And let's face it,
we appreciate that. By the way.
Yes. The youthfulness that you guys have, and it seems the more and more we listen to you every week, the more and more you are just more concerned about yourselves than you are what your opponent can do.
Yeah, I mean it's the same old thing. Last night, okay, yeah, it's 35-0. That looks bad.
Right.
And you look at our schedule. The whole thing just looks bad, Is South Central playing football, or are they just putting 11 guys on the field? But I will tell you this. From week one in that Triton game, I told you that we just got to get better every week. And we have done that. We just started so low that you don't see instant gratification of it. Last night, if everything goes as planned last night, we lose 18-0. All right, if everything goes perfectly. We were able to move the ball very, very well last night. We showed a lot of promise offensively. We had 3 turnovers in the red zone. Okay, can't do that. All right, not anybody's fault. Their kid made a play. If a kid undercuts a route in the back of the end zone, that's their kid making a play. That's not our kids making bad decisions. But you can't have turnovers in the red zone. That's what kills teams. So you take those out of the equation. Maybe we score in those situations. Maybe we don't. Their first score comes on a play where they swing the tailback out, and our linebacker's there to make a play. He just doesn't make a play. 70 yards later, the kid's in the end zone. Their third score, we got a kid making the play in the backfield, and as the kid is going down, he flips the ball to a kid on a reverse going back the other way. Okay. Yeah. And I've never been worried about reverses. I'm not a coach that sits here and says we got to take care of reverse. We do have a kid that's accountable for boot, counter, reverse, and we tell him that. But reverses work against teams who are playing good defense. If your kids are reading their keys and doing exactly what they're told to do, a reverse will work. That's why the play exists. Reverses don't work against bad teams. So by you having success on a reverse, I'm okay with that, because that means my defensive end did exactly what he was taught to do. That means my linebackers were reading their keys and they scraped. And then my boot counter reverse safety just got sucked in a little bit, and now that slot receiver can make that block. Okay, we got one thing to fix, not the end of the world. So you analyze the game as a head coach, and I watched the film last night. I broke it down and was like, just because we are to the point where we just need something different. But as the head coach, it's your job to figure out what the difference is. So breaking it down last night, I'm like, we did not play bad at all. We just aren't making plays when we need to make plays. We need somebody who's going to just take the team on their shoulders and just say, it's my turn to make a play. I'm going to make a play. We got to get past that. We're young, we're inexperienced. We've got to get past that, and we've just got to start enjoying this game and remember why we play the game to begin with. If you play football because you enjoy winning, you're never going to be successful. If you play football because you enjoy hanging out with your buddies every day after school, and you enjoy the physicality of the game and the mental aspect of the game, then this is a great game. But if you're out here just to win, you're not going to have fun.
Yeah, I played the game because it was perfectly legal to go out and try to knock somebody out.
Well, that's what I told him at halftime. I said, "Look, I love this.
Legal, right?
I love this game because when I'm mad and I hit this guy, There's nobody that can say anything about it.
Right.
My mom just says, "Good job."
Yeah.
I do that to my brother at home, and she's mad at me.
Exactly.
But out here, she's proud of me.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Perfectly legal. Oh, that's why I played.
I never looked at it like that.
Yeah,
See, I was a basketball player, so I was a sissy.
No, I was one of those two.
I was sissy when it came to football. I didn't want to get hurt for basketball season. I wish I played now. I'll tell you what, the first 4 weeks here.
Well, suit up. We got a South Central jersey.
I don't know. I don't know if I can fill the spots you need, Coach. Of course, I was talking to athletic director John Haggard. He told me about the I think it was Gary Boone or something. They had 21-year-olds out there playing basketball. What Gary school was that?
Bowman.
Bowman Academy.
Okay, yeah.
Bowman.
Had 21-year-olds, he said, out there slam dunking on kids.
The game, right?
Yeah, just a little bit.
We always joke. So Brady Glissick, who was a quarterback for us a couple years ago, and went and played football at Trine for 1 year, and now he's back in town. He's actually. I guess his official title is bullpen catcher for VU. He's got a scholarship to do that.
Okay,
and he's got to catch bullpens. Hangs out with the baseball teams. He's good friends with Kyle Schmack, who's a baseball player there, and Brian Schmack is actually their neighbor, who's the head coach out there. So he and Brian Glissick, his dad, he's an assistant coach for us. So Brady was out there, and he goes, I said, Brady, you might have to put on a jersey. And he goes, what position am I playing? I'm like, you pick. You go ahead and pick. And he looks at me. He says, so I can play defense? I go, yeah. We don't care if you get hurt now.
Right.
We don't need you at quarterback. We got that.
Yeah.
You can play every position you want. But we always joke around like stuff like that. When you just don't have the answer, you just joke around, be like, well, what's the worst case scenario? We forfeit the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we have an overage player out there. I don't know. What do you think would happen? Do you think
you get severely penalized from the IHSAA? Like,
right. Darn! I was really thinking about it.
We don't want to.
I was really thinking about it.
Like, this is my career. We don't.
Let's change the subject here. Looking ahead here, you got Osceola Grace next week. Then you might need to talk to your athletic director. You have to go to Lake Station and then to River Forest and back-to-back weeks. That's a trip that's not very pleasurable.
No, and you're going to the same spot.
Exactly. They're like a mile apart.
Yeah, I think it's 4. I think it's technically 4 with a railroad track in between. I think the railroad track is the dividing line. I mean, the schedule. The schedule is tipping in our favor, I guess. I mean, it's not. Most people look at that schedule and don't think that it's a real barn burner to begin with. We don't really know a whole lot about Osceola Grace. They're playing this afternoon, so we'll get their film later today. But again,
are you going to make that trip to watch them play live?
No,
if they're playing this afternoon.
No, I got to mow the grass, and Saturday's my day to hang out with the kids. So
okay,
so I got other dad duties to do.
How many
today,
kids do you have?
I got 3, 8, 5, and 4, and Saturday's day to hang out with Dad.
And then you have South Newton coming to Union Mills, and Hammond Knoll coming to Union Mills. Hammond Knowles had some number issues. They've canceled a couple games, I believe, this year. But South Newton, at least you got them coming to Union Mills.
We scheduled that game solely based off of that. That's a 1-year contract. It gets replaced next year. And I told John as soon as they asked to play it, I go, well, I don't really want to drive to South Newton.
It seems like there's no easy way to get there. And
it's every way is long. So
right, you're right. But again, some winnable games here. But do you know anything about Osceola Grace going into next week?
So last year we played them, and we didn't know anything about them last year. But they're a solid team. It's I don't know what makes up the team, like how they are, what they are as far as, because there's not a school associated with it. It's a club sport that's over in Osceola. So you get a few kids from other schools that just combine to make a school. I forget what school. South Bend Career Academy has some kids on that team that play for South Bend Career Academy's basketball team. They play for this football team. A couple kids. around the Jimtown area that don't attend Jimtown High School play for this team. So it's just kind of a mixed bag of some kids. But like last year, they come in and their right tackle's going to Liberty University. So a Division I offensive tackle plays for this team. Their quarterback was probably the best athlete we saw last year. So it looks like, okay, who is this team? What is this? But they do have athletes, and they played Bishop Knoll earlier in the year, beat Bishop Knoll 41-0, which you can put points on the board, and we're giving up points right now and not scoring a whole lot. So, we know that they're going to spread us out, and they're going to put athletes in space, and hopefully they don't have the 6'4", 280-pound offensive lineman that they had last year. But once we get film on them, we'll have a plan of attack, and we'll have a game plan that'll best suit our kids and hopefully pan out for us.
We're talking with head football coach of the South Central Satellites, Buzz Schoff. You mentioned classroom earlier. Are you a teacher like Chris here?
Yes, I'm a math teacher.
Oh,
two of us.
So I got two math teachers in here. What the heck am I doing in here?
Yeah, you got two nerds in here with you. So
I was good at English. I was good at communications in English. Math was not my strong suit.
Hence the job in radio.
Right. Of course, you guys are good at English and communications too. It sounds like. So I'm a little less.
We try our best. We're math teachers, so we're good at faking it until we figure it out.
Well, then you guys would be the great people to call. You guys would be my guys to call then. The old adage, fake it till you make it, right?
Because there's only one class that you can take at the high school or college level where you just say, try it, see if it works. If it don't, try something else.
Exactly.
You can't do that in English class. If you're trying to find the prepositional phrase, you can't circle one letter and then see if it's right. It's either
maybe
wrong
I needed
or right.
you guys in my math class. I would have listened more.
I have to tell my kids, explain to them, if I say find X, it doesn't mean circle it and say here it is.
There, it's right there.
That sounds like something I do.
No, when I say find X, I mean find the value. Okay.
Oh, that'd be fun to come check your guys' class out sometime.
Well, I teach Algebra 2, Pre-Calc, and Calculus. So
I never took either Pre-Cal or Calculus.
Well, maybe you could come in and learn something then.
Nah, I teach.
There's got to be somebody in there learning.
I teach Pre-Cal, Cal, Trig, Algebra 2, Geometry, and Prob and Stat.
My God.
Well, you're a jack of all trades then.
And you're on the radio.
Yeah. And I do this for fun. This is my getaway time.
So, Buzz, we're really looking forward to that game against South Newton on October 7th because we're going to be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the last few weeks, we've been really polishing this show up. We've got Chris down on the sidelines. We hear him crystal as day. And then he's getting interviews with coaches at halftime. We're just really excited with the product we're providing for the schools, and we're really excited to come to South Central.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you guys. I think it'll be I think it'll be fun. Hopefully, we get a win in between now and then, and if not 2 or 3, but I'm excited to have you guys out there to show off what we have to offer you guys, and then see how the show has kind of built over the year. And luckily we're later on the schedule, and we're not the first one. We're not the guinea pig, which is everything
right.
will be firing on all cylinders at that point. So
that week 1 game was rough for me, but we got through it. And we're just really happy that everybody, especially like you, has been so welcoming to us, giving us all access on the field, allowing Chris to roam around like a kid in a candy store. Quite frankly, he is just tickled pink. He told me the other day. He said he wants to get back into coaching again. You got an assistant slot for him?
I got 4. He can choose his spot.
Well, I hope you don't take him because I need him. I need him.
Hopefully my girlfriend's not listening. She doesn't know that I want to get back into coaching football yet. But anyway,
you didn't hear that.
Yeah, you didn't hear that. If she is listening,
I don't know if I don't know if he'll be allowed. He'd have to probably either give up the Tri-Township girls basketball coaching job, or
I can tell you right now.
I don't think South Central will hire a lacrosse guy.
Really?
You can't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you had a serious look on your face. I didn't know.
Just the rivalry.
It's a sticky subject between lacrosse and South Central.
So that's a rivalry. See, I need to know about it. So let me hear about it.
Well, I mean, my dad's an old time guy. He went to not Union Mills High School, but it was Union Township High School back in the day, before they consolidated. He ended up going to LaPorte his senior year, and so he knows a lot of farmers from both La Crosse and Union Mills, and our house, growing up, is in Union Mills. Our address was Union Mills. It was 4 miles away from the school, but it just happened to be in LaPorte School District.
So you had to.
So I was the furthest house you could possibly be to go to LaPorte High School. But I lived right down the road from South Central, and honestly didn't even know where it was at. I mean, my wife, when I started dating her, she's from Wanata, and that's her house was 10 miles away from my house. I just had to cross 30 and get to her house, and I didn't know where I was going. I mean, I remember typing it in the GPS of the phone, and I just didn't know where to go, just because I was a LaPorte kid.
Yeah.
And but back to the question of the rivalry, my dad knows people, old timers, who, if La Crosse is playing at South Central, will not attend the game because they don't want South Central to get their $5 for the admission.
Oh my
gosh! They think that South Central would be gaining something from that.
That's worse than Knox and North Judson last night. Knox was in full force.
It is, it's definitely a rivalry.
You said the athletic director said they had quite the night last night. So, I mean, a full packed house in North Judson, and you're telling me that La Crosse and South Central don't want to go to the ticket to get in.
It's always entertaining. It's never anything bad.
Right.
The fans never get out of control. There's never like an argument or anything like that. The kids, there's friendly banter back and forth. It's just that great, what you expect at high school basketball atmosphere.
Yeah.
Well, in all sports, really.
Yes.
I mean, it's something that carries, with the exception of football.
Right,
because Tri-Township
because we do that doubleheader type thing where the girls and boys both play. It's usually your girls' senior night or our girls' senior night, that game, so that brings in more emotion to it. So you got a girls' varsity game, a boys' varsity game, a senior night on top of it. The gyms are always packed full.
And you just coach football?
I just coach football, but I'm the assistant athletic director, so so I'm at all those games, and I wouldn't miss them anyway.
See, I'm connecting the dots here.
Well, not only that, but I always got to, when we go to South Central, I'll take my girls to South Central, and he's standing over there by at the end of my bench along the wall. I always razz him. I'm always giving him crap, but
my job is to make sure, because usually at basketball games, who are the unruly students? They're usually football players, right? And instead of our athletic director or our principal getting mad at them, I just can walk over there and be like, hey, all right, relax. Get off the floor. Stop.
Yep.
Stop. You don't need to say that to her.
I thought he was going to go somewhere else with that. Usually it's the football players, but hey, when Tri-Township comes to town, it's usually the girls' basketball coach.
Is that what it is? Well, I'm looking forward to basketball season, even though we've got half the football season to go, because I'm a big basketball player. That's what I played growing up. But it has just been a joy to really dive into the football atmosphere here in northern Indiana. This pocket of Indiana, I mean, the rivalries are taken very seriously. Like I mentioned earlier, you guys have a thing with territory around here, so I acknowledge that. Absolutely. I acknowledge your territory. Well, Coach, we appreciate your time, and thanks for coming in and being so gracious with it. I'll have to come up and sit through a let's not do calculus. I'll do pre-calculus because I need to start somewhere small, right?
All right, you're always welcome.
All right, head coach of the South Central Satellites football team, Buzz Schoff. We appreciate you, Buzz. Until next time, we have Where Are They Now segment coming up next with Harold Welter.
Life is busy. At First Farmers Bank and Trust, we know that your time is valuable. That's why we offer mobile banking, online account opening, and mobile check deposit. So you can take care of your banking and get back to the people who matter most to you, while we take care of the people who matter most to us, our customers. Visit us online at ffbt.com to learn more. First Farmers Bank and Trust. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Since 1936, Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning have always taken pride in doing the job right. Third-generation owner Brian Hammond and his family have always set the standard when it comes to taking care of all your heating and cooling needs. Making your home a comfortable home is the absolute top priority. If you are uncomfortable in your home, give them a call at 574-936-4660. Follow them on Facebook. Let Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning help you take control of your comfort.
It's time now for Where Are They Now? A look back at more than a half century of WKVI radio covering local high school sports. Today's program is brought to you by Osborne's Mini Marts in Knox and Culver. Now let's meet one of the local high school sports figures from more than 50 years of WKVI sports and find out where are they now?
I'm Harold Welter, and here on the Where Are They Now segment, I thought it would be interesting with Cheyenne Allen over there at North Judson chasing a lot of records that were set back in the mid-'80s by the great Joe Griffo. I thought it would be interesting to go back and replay a conversation I had with Joe Griffo about 3 years ago here on the Where Are They Now segment, and he reminisced with us about those great days of the mid-'80s. With North Judson-San Blue Jay sports. Well, as we look back on 50 years of broadcasting high school sports in the Kankakee Valley here on WKVI, our guest is Joe Griffo, a 1986 graduate of North Judson-San High School. And here on the program, it's called Where Are They Now? So, Joe, where are you now, and what are you doing?
Hey, Harold. Great to talk to you. I am, in fact, in Raleigh, North Carolina. I have lived down here since the early 90s after graduating college. I'm working actually at a very successful software company that is based here in Raleigh, a global software company, working in the IT department as one of their service platform owners. Also worked at Kodak when I moved down here. Spent 15 years with them. Take up my residence here.
So you've been in the technology business.
Yes, sir.
I want to look back, Joe, back on your high school career and football. You had an opportunity to play in a couple of state championship games with the Blue Jays. And looking back on your high school career, what game do you remember the most?
Oh, gosh. I would have to say it's kind of the game that I remember the most probably came my junior year. We were playing Winamac after getting knocked out of the playoffs the year before in the old cluster system. We played at Winamac and we beat them, and that launched us into the playoffs for that year, which ultimately led us to the state finals. That would probably be my most memorable one, although our senior year was quite memorable, and we had, I think, 10 defensive shutouts, so we had a whole season with nobody scoring on us, so that was pretty memorable as well.
And you played on a team that had some pretty darn good athletes. Who were some of your teammates that you remember and maybe stay in contact with?
Absolutely, yeah. Of course, Kirk Mans, he was our quarterback. Dave Haw was our receiver. Had some great linemen, Brian Cook, Brian Mustard. Brian Sin was also in the backfield with me as a running back. Tom Zimmerman, for that matter, was also a really good fullback. Back when we ran the wishbone. I'm not sure if they even still run that anymore.
A version of it. The game's a little bit now is a little bit different than it was then.
Absolutely.
You participated in some other sports too besides football, didn't you?
Absolutely. Basketball as well. Played 3 years of basketball there. Had a front row seat to Kirk's scoring prowess, his 2 years leading the state in scoring, and Dave Haw as well as a point guard, leading the league and leading the state in assists, and baseball as well. Baseball is actually a love of mine as well. We were the first team, I believe it was my sophomore year, to have a female coach.
Right.
We had Murray Height as our female baseball coach, and we went actually to the regionals under her, and that was the first time that had happened in a number of years as well.
Growing up, and as you played in high school, Joe, who were some of the people who were like role models or who helped you be so successful in athletics?
I think obviously you have to look at the coaches. Coach Radtke was our leader, but I also think that Coach Kevin Brown, was pretty instrumental for me because I had him as a coach for so many different things: defensive backfield, offensive backfield, kicking game. So I really gleaned a lot from him as well, and Coach McCullough in basketball as well.
We're passing along a conversation we had with the great Joe Griffo, an outstanding athlete at North Judson-San Pierre High School back in the 80s, who set all kinds of football records. And, of course, Cheyenne Allen in the year of 2022 has been taking away some of those records from Joe Griffo. And we had this conversation with Joe a couple of years ago, and we'll be back with more here on our Where Are They Now segment after this.
Need a game plan that has your day covered from tip-off to the buzzer? Osborne's Mini Mart in Knox has you covered. Whether you like to start out with a caffeinated full-court press or control the tempo with a Subway breakfast flatbread, Osborne's Mini Mart has what you need. Don't get trapped in the corner with an empty stomach. Call a quick timeout and get 2 hot dogs for $1.29. Visit Osborne's Mini Mart in Knox at the corner of US 35 and Highway 8 East to guarantee you win the day.
Our guest is Joe Griffo, 1986 graduate of North Judson-San Pierre High School. And Joe, looking back on your career, and you had so much success in so many sports, sectional champions in 3 sports, regional semi-state champions in football. What did you gain from being a high school athlete that has helped you be so successful in life?
Harold, I think the biggest thing is learning how to be a part of something that is bigger than you, being part of a team, and learning accountability, learning that everybody has to pull their weight within a team, and if one link is weak, then they all suffer. And I think that plus creating actually a coaching style of my own. I actually gleaned some of that from my coaches in me coaching my daughter's softball team. And you're trying to encourage kids. You're trying to get the best out of them. You're trying to be fair to them, but you're also holding them accountable to things. So I think that was one of the things that I picked up from sports as well. And believe it or not, it also helps in corporate life. I've been in corporate America for many years, and you see a lot of the similarities between sports. You have a head coach or a manager, and you have a sub-level of managers, which might be your specialty coaches, your backfield coach or your quarterback coach, and there's a hierarchy there, and it fosters being part of a team and how to communicate and pull your weight as a team. I think that is one major thing that I probably pulled out of sports going forward in my life.
What kind of advice would you have for young athletes who aspire to have the kind of success that you had in sports?
I think the main thing is to work hard. One thing that we worked very hard at was conditioning, especially in sports. When you condition as much as you can throughout the year, we conditioned almost year-round. That's going to make you physically stronger. You're going to outlast your opponents. Getting in as much practice time as you can to fine-tune your craft. That's what I would focus on the most. Don't worry so much about personal accolades and what you'll get out of it, but look more toward your team's success. Look for the bigger picture, not just the small picture in front of you.
it just dawned on me, and on our Where Are They Now segment last year and this year, we've talked with David Hall, we've talked with Kirk Mans, and now we've talked with you. We could just kind of go down your teammates, those 4 years you had in high school, and we'll have these great stories forever.
Absolutely.
Joe, thanks so much for taking time and visiting with us and sharing your thoughts on what was a great career for the North Judson-San Blue Jays. Our guest here on Where Are They Now has been Joe Griffo, a 1986 graduate of North Judson-San High School. Join us again next week on the Saturday Sports Line for Where Are They Now?
Where Are They Now? A look back at more than a half century of high school sports coverage on WKVI has been brought to you by Osborne's Mini Marts in Knox and Culver.
Welcome to Marion University's newest location, Ancilla College of Marion University. Marion's newest campus location in Plymouth is your home for an on-campus college experience. From living in the dorms to being a collegiate student-athlete, Marion University is ranked 3rd most innovative Midwest university by U.S. News and World Report. For more information about our 2- or 4-year degrees, go to www.marion.edu/Ancilla. That's www.marion.edu/Ancilla.
Join us each Saturday morning on WKVI for the Saturday Sports Line and worldwide on WKVI.com.
Thanks, John. It's time now for our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week, given in memory of Tyler Roth, a 2001 graduate of Winamac High School who died in an auto accident 1 week after his high school graduation. His legacy of hard work, outstanding citizenship, artistic success, and super athletic performance lives on with this award given every week to outstanding student athletes from the 9 schools in the Kankakee Valley. Today's award is brought to you by Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winamac, and we'll tell you who's earned the Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week after this word from Web Printing.
Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack and signs of all kinds in Winamac is where all of your printing needs can be met. Whether it's paper, garments, or signs, Web Printing is your full-service printing solution. So if you're in need of embroidered or screen-printed garments, tickets or programs for your event, or documents for your business, Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack is the place to go. For the quickest service, best prices, and best quality, it's Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winamac.
Our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week for this week is Zach Kimmel, a member of the cross-country team at South Central. Zach has had an amazing season thus far for the Satellites. He is undefeated so far this year, winning at North Judson, winning the 421 Fun Run and at West Central, and won the team's first conference meet. Oh yeah, he won Thursday night against Westville as well. Zach is a junior and already has experience at a high level competing at semi-state last year as a sophomore. Zach is the son of June Kimmel, his father, the late Richard Kimmel. June, who unfortunately passed away in 2008, ran for South Central when he was in high school too. Zach is carrying that torch forward strong and proud. Congratulations to Zach Kimmel of South Central, our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week. Zach will receive a certificate, a history of the award, and a T-shirt commemorating their achievement, and will also be a future guest on the Saturday Sports Line. He will also be eligible for our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Year award later this spring, which carries with it a beautiful plaque and a college scholarship, compliments of WKVI and the family of Tyler Roth. The Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week is brought to you by Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack of Winamac. As we are finishing up here, Week 4 of the Saturday Sports Line, 2022-2023 season. I'm Mitch Columby, along with sports analyst Chris McGowan. We so appreciate you tuning in every weekend here on K99.3 FM and around the world on K99.3 WKVI.com. No matter what, you can hear us wherever you are. Until this Friday, Winamac, North Judson. We'll see you then. I'm Mitch Columby. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
From the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios of Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI, you've been listening to the Saturday Sports Line with sports director Mitch Columby and sports analyst Chris McGowan.